Bank of International Settlements, which is the central bank for central banks, back in 2018, came out and they put this whole thing of, hey, we have to stop Bitcoin. Okay, all the central banks, we have to ban Bitcoin. We have to stop this from happening because it's threatening our livelihood. They pretty soon realized that that wasn't possible. So now they're embracing the central bank digital currency. And I think that the central bank digital currency model for them is a way of competing or stamping out things like cryptocurrency or stable coins, or at least, as you say, the sovereign being able to control the currency. I think we were all fooling ourselves if we didn't at some point realize that this whole conversation would happen. It's just become very prevalent now because now the central banks really understand what's at stake, and it's a matter of who's going to control the money. And we never, I think, imagine that whether it's another sovereign country that's an enemy to the United States or the United States, that this type of conversation would not at some point happen. To the timeline, I will say, and I know what you're talking about with the phase one before Fed access, but Brian Brooks at the OCC, it's really remarkable what he is doing. Brian Brooks is former chief legal counsel of Coinbase. He's, by the way, Jahan, he's buddies with Mnuchin, and he worked with Mnuchin in the private sector before. So I've spoken to Brooks briefly, and my take is that Brooks, basically has been put there to run and regulate crypto because Mnuchin just doesn't want to deal with it. He doesn't understand it. He doesn't care about it. But Brooks has announced that he's going to offer a payments charter in the fall. And I'll leave you with this, John, which is that this payments charter in the fall will essentially allow a bank charter. If you just have payments, you don't have deposits or lending, and it's federal. So it would circumvent all the 50 state money transmitter licenses that you'd normally need. Brooks is doing this because he wants to wait 18 months to then give these companies access to the Fed. If he tries to give them access to the Fed, he's going to face a roadblock from the Federal Reserve. So that's why he's doing it at this easing way. But what Brooks is doing is pretty extraordinary, because he talked to the American Bankers Association yesterday, where he told them their idea on a podcast. And I mean, the big banks aren't going to like this. The states aren't going to like this. So we really do have like a crypto leader in regulation that's trying to get things going. And what's interesting about Facebook is their Calibra wallet, right? They had Libra. The Calibra wallet has changed names from Calibra to Novi Financial. So don't be surprised if the very first payments charter that's given in the fall is from Facebook, which is Novi.
Jason, jump on
that podcast. It's very, it's not perfect, John, is what I'm saying, right? Like we're not able to respond as we normally would, but for me, at least, I'm glad that at least someone like Brooks is there. Even the bankers are starting to tease him, calling him like the crypto comptroller in chief. So,
well, eventually, it's great that we have a leader, and we definitely want to support him because he's working in the best interests of the United States and our industry, which is going to be foisted upon the world, whether or not the world likes it, because it's better, faster, and cheaper. So like the technology moves forward, the United States is slow. I was feeling disappointed about the 18 months before this got fully implemented. 18 months from now, the global financial landscape could look really significantly different, and a lot of the architecture is going to have been won. And everyone on this call talked about that. We wrote articles called Blockchain Wars, trying to bring politicians and American citizens kind of to raise awareness. And America is a lot of things. One of the things that we definitely are is sometimes blissfully ignorant. So.